So this will take about 60 minutes. Let's start it as fast as we can. Just joking. Okay, these are the results of the surveys that hopefully most of you took. Actually, majority of the respondents have been attending this event. The survey was designed and conducted between IranPoll and Bourse and Bazaar. You know IranPoll is focusing on market research and opinion polling in Iran. The survey was conducted among a sample of business, government, and civil society leaders provided by Bourse and Bazaar. The majority of respondents are attending this event. And in the slides, you will see Iranians, that means Iranian respondents to this survey, and non-Iranian means non-Iranian respondents to this survey. Okay, with that out, let's have a look at the composition of the respondents. As you can see, majority are well-educated. I guess it shows we have a good representation of books here. Then we have respondents' composition, a strong majority from private sector, but some from government, public enterprise, and individuals, and nonprofits. The respondents come from a long range of sectors: financial services, academia, energy, legal, consulting, and all others. It's a well-diverse group of participants. Going to the results, the survey results show that exporting to Iran and investing in Iran are the main interests of non-Iranian respondents. As you can see, when asked how interested you are in export to Iran, invest in Iran, and import from Iran, 69% and 56% are chosen for the reasons. Expanding professional network and promoting one's company or activities are given as the main reasons for attending this event. As you can see, the single most important reason have been chosen as these two options. That means the other options, which are about gaining the knowledge about different aspects, are not at least the single first reason. Why? Because respondents believe themselves to be relatively well-informed about trading and investment in Iran. A strong majority, 82%, think that they are a lot or somewhat informed about trading with Iran. Same goes for their knowledge, their perception of knowledge about investing in Iran. So that's why majority are here for networking and promoting their own business. Majority do not perceive international media outlets as a good source of accurate information about Iran's trade and business environment.
Shame.
Well, we need to talk with these media people. When asked, is international media outlets a good source of accurate information? Well, there we go, 69% are no. Now, whoever is from media here should rethink that. Now, Iran's economy is not considered currently to be globally competitive. Not that strange. When asked, there is an agreement between Iranian and non-Iranian respondents to the survey that no, the economy of Iran is not yet globally competitive. But when asked, the answer is Iran's political system is considered to be relatively stable. As you can see, a majority of both Iranian and non-Iranian respondents think that Iran's political system is relatively stable. There is an overall agreement that multinational companies are moving slower than they could to trade and invest in Iran. This is the result of the survey we looked at yesterday. So this is the result from Iranian population. As you might remember, 70% of Iranians think that international multinational companies are moving slower than they could. When asked from our online respondents here, we see that they basically agree, but the percentage is a bit higher, 91% and 80%. And a surprisingly similar percentage of respondents agree with the Iranian people that this slow move is due to the pressure of or fear of the United States. So this is again from yesterday. This means this is from the respondents and the Iranian people. 76% of Iranian people think the reason is pressure or fear of the United States. And surprisingly, very similar percentage of the people in our event think exact same percentages. And of course, a similar percentage think it's Iran's own weak business environment. Respondents and Iranian people share their level of confidence in European Union and lack of confidence in United States on how likely each will live up to their obligations toward a nuclear agreement. So the Iranian people, from the representative sample we presented yesterday, majority think that European countries will live up to their obligations. We get the same picture from the respondents in our sample, that they believe European unions will oblige. As you might remember, this is from the Iranian people, the general public, 77% would think that they are not confident US will oblige to their obligations in the JCPOA. We get about the same response here. 81% and 73% of respondents think the same, that US will not live up to their obligations under the JCPOA. And a question asked from just the respondents in our online survey, how confident you are that Iran will live up to its obligation under JCPOA, and we see a strong majority think that Iran will live up to its obligations under JCPOA. There is a pessimism in how respondents predict US will behave regarding the JCPOA, even if Iran fully abides by its terms. How am I doing with time?
You're doing pretty well. You've got another 3.5 minutes.
Oh, so that one is, because this shows I have 13 minutes, just, it's what it's saying.
Instead of 20 minutes.
Oh, you really didn't believe I will finish in 10.
No, but they didn't realize that it had been cut to 10.
Okay, conspiracy everywhere. That's why the media is considered. Okay, so I have another 3 minutes, good. So there is a pessimism in how respondents predict US will behave regarding the JCPOA, even if Iran fully abides by its term. When asked if Iran refuses to accept President Trump's demands, but fully abides by the terms of the nuclear agreement, how likely is it that the United States would reimpose the sanctions that were lifted under the JCPOA? We see that the respondents would say basically 27% very likely and 41% somewhat likely that United States would reimpose the sanctions. We see the same picture for the non-Iranian respondents, very pessimistic. Now, a majority believe European companies will become averse to trade with Iran if United States unilaterally reimposes some of the sanctions. So when asked if the United States unilaterally reimposes some of the sanctions that were lifted under the nuclear agreement and or decides to unilaterally impose new sanctions on Iran, do you think most European companies would become very averse to trade with Iran, become somewhat averse to trade, somewhat ignore unilateral US sanctions, or totally ignore unilateral sanctions? As you can see, a strong majority of both Iranian respondents and non-Iranian respondents are very pessimistic. So the real question becomes this one, and that's the last slide. So question remains if a tweet from President Trump will dictate the future of Iran-EU relations. As you saw, we basically build it up in the sense that what would be the case that Iran fully abides with the terms, still the respondents here think that no, US will go on with its sanctions, and then what would be the result? The respondents here clearly think that it's going to be very much negatively effective. And please note, the people who came to this event and responded to this survey are probably the more optimistic of the sort, because those who were completely pessimistic, of course, didn't bother to respond to the survey or attend this event. Not the rosiest picture, I should say, and that was at least the question I came up with after looking to the results. How far a tweet is going to dictate Iran-EU relations? Okay, I did it.
Brilliant. 36 seconds
30
left.
seconds. The rest
Fantastic.
I will just dance. Thank you.
That gives me time to ask you one question, and you
Sure.
will have less than 30 seconds to
I
answer.
have 10 minutes.
Was there anything in the survey results that surprised you?
This one actually somewhat did. I didn't think it would be as pessimistic,
Really?
as you can see. There was also the difference between, the similarity, I should say, between how the Iranian urban public thinks and the elite think. Amazing. I mean, when we say representative sample, that means a small city in Semnan was also present in that. And apparently, you guys think very similar.
Just the same, absolutely.